An entire village goes missing in 1587. I've got more than that. A woman hiking in 1946 goes missing, gone without a trace. A man... I can't. A man disappears midday in 1949.
We're going to have to start writing down the intros now because, good God.
I know. This is a bad intro. I can redo it, I think. We're the masters.
Why not?
We're the masters of our own.
Who will be slicing this to pieces, so just go for it.
Slicing and dicing. Guys. me. Yeah, you thought I was going to start, didn't you? But I didn't. An entire village goes missing in 1587. A woman disappears mid-hike and is never found. And a man disappears midday in the 1940s. What do all these things have in common? They're all mysterious disappearances. And that is the theme of this week's Morbid Message Monday. Brought to you by Tech Mess. My name is Jake.
And my name is Matt.
And today we're getting into the nitty-gritty, the dirty, the ooky, the spooky. We're going to talk about disappearances that were never solved. Matt, how are you feeling about this?
I'm pretty excited about this. I always like mysterious disappearances.
Yeah,
I find
absolutely.
them incredibly intriguing because there's always so much to what led up to that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel you 100%. So here's the thing. These disappearances range anywhere from, like I said, 1587 to I think the last one is 1986, maybe?
Yeah, none of them are super recent.
Yeah. And the thing about Morbid Message Monday is we're trying to make your Mondays ooky. We're trying to make them spooky. We're trying to make them educational.
As if the term Monday wasn't ooky and spooky enough.
Does it make us believe in time travel a little? It might.
It could.
Because this first one, I'm not totally convinced it wasn't aliens. So let's jump right in to Virginia Dare in the Lost Colony. Real quick, this is another pedia, NCpedia, so I'm guessing North Carolina-pedia, maybe? And so this is Virginia Dare, also known as the White Doe. More than 400 years ago, Europeans wanted to set up colonies in the New World. For them, the New World meant the present-day continents of North and South America. Sir Walter Raleigh, an adventurous English gentleman, sent a group of men to explore the New World. A later expedition established a settlement on Roanoke Island on the North Carolina coast. In 1586, after enduring winter hardships, lack of food, and disagreements with the Native Americans, survivors of this colony returned to England with Sir Francis Drake. Raleigh decided to send a second group of colonists. On April 26, 1587, a small fleet set sail from England, hoping to establish the first permanent English settlement in the New World. The second group of colonists differed from the first because it included not only men, but also women and children. It would be a permanent colony. The little fleet consisted of the ship Lion, a flyboat, a fast, flat-bottomed boat capable of maneuvering in shallow water, and a pinnacle, a small sailing ship used to carry supplies. These vessels carried more than 150 men, women, and children. Also aboard were two Native Americans, Monteo and Wanchese. I don't want to say it wrong, but I did. Who had gone to England with Raleigh's previous expedition and were returning to their home. The pilot was a Spaniard, Simón Fernando, and the governor of the new colony was John White. Among the colonists were Governor White's daughter, Eleanor, her husband, Ananias Dare, and her husband, Ananias Dare. Hi, I read sometimes. The voyage took longer than the usual 6 weeks, and the ships finally anchored off Roanoke Island on July 22nd. So, real quick, that's just a little bit of backstory about kind of how the colony ended up where the colony is. Now, once the colonists landed, they began repairing the houses that were already there and started building new homes. Eleanor Dare gave birth to a baby girl on August 18th and named her Virginia. Virginia Dare became the first English child born in the New World. So, fun fact about that. First English child born in the New World.
Nice.
The colonists begged Governor White to return to England for supplies. He was very reluctant to leave the colony, but finally agreed. On August 27th, 9 days after his granddaughter's birth, he set sail. See, it's about to get serious, so we're going to add like... he planned to get relief supplies and more colonists in England, and then return to Roanoke Island as soon as possible. I love you. Sorry, that's my wife. However, his plans did not work out. Soon after White returned to England, King Philip II of Spain and his armada, fleet of warships, attacked the British. Because of this attack and for other reasons, White could not return to Roanoke until 3 years later. Once he finally reached Roanoke Island in August 18th of 1590, his granddaughter's third birthday, the colony was abandoned. What had happened? The only clues are found in a logbook kept by Governor White. He found the letters CRO carved on a tree near the water's edge. The settlement had been enclosed by a palisade, a tall fence with stakes pointed at the top and set close together to make a fort. At the right side of the entrance, the word Croatoan had been carved. Croatoan? Had been carved on the post without any cross or sign of distress near it. White and his men continued to search but never found a trace of the colony. White hoped that the colonists were safe with Manteo and his friendly Croatoan tribesmen at their home on Hatteras Island. So, obviously this is a rather in-depth, detailed thing, so I'm going to try to skim a little bit so Matt can get to his. But I'm really stoked about this one. So what happened to these lost colonists? No one knows for sure. As with many mysteries, when the answer cannot be found, legends grow to explain the story. One of the most enduring North Carolina legends about Virginia Dare is about Virginia Dare as the White Doe. The White Doe. In 1901, Sally Saville Cotton wrote The White Doe, The Fate of Virginia Dare, a long narrative poem that tried to explain the mystery. According to Miss Cotton's story and later variations of the legend, Virginia Dare grew up in the tribe of the friendly Native American Manteo. These all say Indian, and I don't want to say that because I feel like that's wrong, right? She became known as Winona Ska and grew into, into a beautiful young woman whom everyone loved. Okisko was a handsome young Native American chieftain who wished to marry her. However, an old witch doctor, Chico, also wanted to win Winona Ska. It is Winona Ska. Chico was very jealous of Okisko. Oh my God, Okisko.
You had to pick all the complicated names, didn't you?
I've seriously, fuck, dude, I even read this. That's what sucks. In spite of his efforts to win her love, Chico was turned down by Winona Ska. Enraged, he used evil magic to turn her into a white doe. If she wouldn't be his, no other man could have her either. All right. So, obviously, I mean, that is just one theory of what happened to Virginia Dare and the Lost Colony. Now, when I was first reading this, I have a soft spot in my heart for aliens, for extraterrestrials, for I want to believe. So literally, as soon as I saw that the entire village disappeared, I was like, it was an abduction. That's what it was. Aliens took them. They're on another planet now. And I hope that's
aliens.
Aliens. Exactly. But I mean, I like the White Doe story as well. I didn't read the full narrative poem, but I am curious if I can now, because I'm not going to read the entire thing, obviously, because it's literally like a full fucking book, a poem book.
Maybe don't.
But let me read the very beginning. Okay. Hold on. Okay, guys, bear with me here. Wow. Okay, maybe this isn't a poem.
I would skip it for now then.
Yeah, I'm going to skip it. Guys, not a poem. Anyway, Virginia Dare in the Lost Colony. What do you think happened? Maybe it wasn't aliens. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too excitable about the whole thing. But I also don't believe that it was Virginia Dare, the White Doe. Now, I'm not 100% against the idea that they went on to live with Manteo
Possible.
and his friendly Croatoan tribesmen. But I don't know because there was no sign of these people ever seen again. Like ever.
Yeah, mass suicide would be something.
Mass suicide would be interesting.
You would have some sort of sign of them left.
Not necessarily by any means.
Unless they all suicided in the middle of the ocean.
For those of you listening to the podcast, these are the suggestions of those watching live, as you can do every Monday. At twitch.tv/tech_mess 9 p.m. MST.
Yes.
So there's the idea of mass suicide, which is definitely an interesting one. I mean, I feel like in this time period, it doesn't necessarily make sense, but I'm also not 100% against it. Maybe they ran out of supplies and they needed to, really move forward.
Records keeping.
Very true. It could be. It's 1589 or what? 1580.
Yeah, I mean, they very well could have moved somewhere else and just decided, fuck it, we're not going to record where we're going.
Well, yeah, and Governor White did return 3 years later, so I get it.
Yeah.
There's starvation is a theory here, which I'm definitely not against that. My theory, right, seeing this is starvation that led to mass suicide. Maybe they were like, let's all go out together. I don't know.
Okay.
Water, cholera, that's true. And then I like aliens, as do I. I like the idea that it was aliens. So yeah, that is the tale in very thin form of Virginia Dare and the Lost Colony. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm still a little like, what happened? Because none of them were ever heard from again. So, I mean, yeah, they might have all just died, and it could be just a boring, oh yeah, they all lived and then they died. But the truth is out there. You're absolutely right.
It very well could have been the first social protest.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say social distancing.
Social distancing. It crossed my mind. I'm not going to lie. It did cross my mind with today's day and age.
100%. So, Matt, we talked about this woman disappearing without a trace. Yeah. Let's hear about the next person.
Let's talk about the man that vanished into thin air.
Oof. Let's go. I can't wait.
James E. Tedford, often referred to as Tedford, born in 1884 in Vermont. Not much is known of his early life, but in 1940, he was a resident of Fletchertown, Franklin, VT. What is that? What is VT?
Something, man.
Vermont.
It's Vermont. Hey, that's Vermont. A place. Hey, Vermontians. We see you.
He lived there with his younger wife, Pearl, who was 28, and he was 56. So there's that.
Interesting. Literally double the age.
Things started to get very strange for the Tedfords. Following the Tedfords' return to Vermont at the end of the second spell of his military service at the end of World War II. He returned to find his wife, Pearl, had vanished. No trace of her could be found. The property they rented in Fletchertown had been left abandoned, and the Tedfords' family claimed no knowledge of the whereabouts of his missing wife. They say that they had last seen her heading towards a Mako store in Franklin, and then they never saw her again. So she was out going shopping, and then poof, gone. Aliens, yes.
Aliens.
We'll just chalk it all up to aliens tonight.
Basically, every one of these mysterious disappearances is aliens.
On December 1st of 1949, Tedford's remaining family reported him missing. Police investigators' reports show that he boarded a bus in St. Albans a few days earlier, but he had not arrived at his destination. So they picked him up on the way there. But he had disappeared in the last part of his trip, on his way to a retirement home in Bennington, and from a trip to see family in St. Albans, Vermont. Scheduled bus trip should have taken the best part of 8 hours, but heavy snow caused a long delay. Oh, snow. I'll add the sound effects later, Jake. It's okay. The route passed through the Green Mountain National Forest, an area renowned for the disappearances and strange events in the 1940s. Tedford was seen sitting on the bus with 14 other passengers, and they all testified to seeing him there, sleeping in his seat. When the bus reached its destination, however, Tedford was gone. The driver and other witnesses all testified that they had not seen the old man leave the bus. And somewhere between the last stop at Bennington, Tedford vanished. He's gone. Strangely, all of his belongings... What?
Just never showed back up, right?
No, he just disappeared. All of his belongings were still left on a luggage rack in the local bus terminal. And it was just his empty seat. He was never returned. He never was found. No part of him was ever seen. So, yeah.
Damn.
He just disappeared on the way to a retirement home.
And now, when was this?
This was in 1949.
Damn. James Edward Tedford. Well, and so they both disappeared, right?
They both disappeared. She disappeared first without a trace, just heading to the grocery store, and then he disappeared.
All right, let's get into the nitty gritty here. He killed her, and then regretted his mistake, went off, killed himself. I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, but how did he get off the bus without anyone seeing him?
It's okay. Listen, I know that nobody saw him, but first of all, you have to keep in mind that people are very private, and they may not say a damn thing.
True.
They may be, who's asking? Who's asking? It's the 1940s, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to talk to anybody here.
The days of the mob.
And now, second, aliens who need rice and TP. Oh my God, you guys got ideas. We'll get into them in a moment. I think that James Tedford may have, allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly because this is not a accusation.
We do not have the answers.
I think that he disappeared his wife. And then he disappeared himself.
However, how would he disappear her if he was in active duty in World War II? Did he pay somebody to disappear her?
Aliens, man. They brought him back. That's what it was. They brought him back to disappear. I don't fucking know. I think there's more to it than they're leading on. Now,
could be, very much could be.
And again, these are older stories right now. Like these are the nitty, the gritty. Everybody thinks it's aliens.
I mean, it's a solid answer for everything in life.
For most disappearances, yeah.
Where'd you put your car keys? Aliens.
Yeah. Where did you put your car keys?
It's a very easy answer. Who built the pyramids? Aliens.
I think so. I do. I honestly still do. To this day. How the fuck are you?
Possibly.
We're not going to get into this. That's a whole other episode of Morbid Message Monday.
There you go.
Aliens. Lose a sock?
It's the fucking aliens. They're taking them out of your dryer.
Where are all the things that are hiding in your house? They're in the ship. The mothership. My friends.
It's a hoarder's paradise.
No, I love aliens. They're some of my best friends, but time travel wins. Inflection points. Valid. Time travel would be an interesting thing.
All right.
But now, we're not going to get into time travel because I would need to do hours of research before I even try to pretend like I understand the correct way of doing it. But I personally believe in the alternate universe style of time travel versus you can go back in your own timeline and then fuck up your future. I don't think that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
Like, what? Like, how's that? Come on. Time travel in general is pretty wacky, but alternate universes are not. I'm not against, the multiverse, exactly. I'm not against the existence of the multiverse by any means. So, you heard it here. Jake believes in the multiverse. And here's something that I also believe. I believe that Ray Gricar disappeared on April 15th, 2005. Now, here's a little backstory. He was the county district attorney. So, my thought is this is going to be a little bit more of a dark disappearance. Like this dude. He's at the bottom of a lake somewhere, I think. But I'll get into it a little bit more. On April 15th, 2005, Center County District Attorney Ray Gricar parked his car in Lewisburg and went for a stroll down Market Street. He has been missing ever since. Now, this comes from thebucknellian.net in April 19th, 2018. So this is 13 years later. On April 17th, 2005, a small headline appeared in the corner of the front page of this, I'm not even going to pretend, Susquehanna, maybe I did say that right, Susquehanna Valley Daily. Item, Center County DA missing. The story continued inside the paper, briefly outlining a developing case. Police searched the land and air in central Pennsylvania for any sign of a car driven by Center County's top prosecutor, who was reported missing Saturday after he failed to return home from a drive the day before. The prosecutor, Ray Gricar, had awoken Friday, April 15th and told his girlfriend, Patty Fornicola, that he would be skipping work that day and to enjoy a drive down to Lewisburg. It was one of the first warm days of the year, and Gricar told Fornicola he was hoping to enjoy the weather. By early the next day, his red Mini Cooper was found by a state trooper in the parking lot. Sorry, this is 100% wrong, so I got to do it better. By early the next day, his red Mini Cooper was found by a state trooper in the parking lot of the street shops about 50 miles from his home in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. Many witnesses reported seeing or speaking to Gricar on Market Street. His phone, turned off, was found within the car. However, his laptop, wallet, and car keys were not. Now, 13 years later, well, more now. What is this? Not how many years? Fuck it. I don't care. The question of what happened to Gricar that sunny Friday in Lewisburg still remains. He was born in Cleveland and had served as the Pennsylvania Center Court District Attorney from 1985 to 2005. So he was active district attorney when that happened. He specialized in cases of homicide. He actually prosecuted many notable cases, including the perpetrator of the Hetzel Union building shooting, in which a woman opened fire with a rifle at Penn State in 1996, killing one student and wounding another. In 1998, Gricar declined to press charges against the infamous Jerry Sandusky, the longtime Penn State assistant football coach, who was charged and convicted with 40 counts of child sex abuse in 2011. Some believe that Gricar declined to press charges against Sandusky in order to avoid having to tackle such a hometown legend. However, Anthony DeBoeuf, who had worked as an assistant district attorney under Gricar for 5 years, strongly disagrees. Not one got a bye with Ray. He didn't care who you were; he had a job to do. So he's a very serious guy. I want more than anything. Gricar's daughter, Laura, issued a plea for her father at a news conference 3 days after his disappearance. I want more than anything to hear your voice and for you to hug me. Maybe we can go for a hike, go hike up a mountain and sit and talk. Please, call. Visibly emotional, she addressed the public. To everyone else out there, if you have seen my father, please contact police. Within the week, the FBI was called in to assist with the investigation. Divers searched the Susquehanna River while helicopters covered both land and water from above. In July, Gricar's laptop, which was missing its hard drive, missing its hard drive, was found months later by a fisherman on the bank near the old railway bridge, which runs parallel to the traffic bridge. The hard drive was too damaged to be read. Okay. Gricar's wallet and keys were not found. Now, from the motorcycle gang Hells Angels to Gricar's own girlfriend, the police explored many possible suspects over the course of the investigation, yet an official suspect was never identified. On April 22nd, the Bucknellian reported that an anonymous donor had promised a $5,000 reward for information regarding Gricar's whereabouts. Who's the anonymous donor? It is unclear whether the money was ever awarded to anyone. The case has been the subject of many television documentary programs, including Dateline NBC and CBS's Without a Trace. While his body has not been found, Gricar was declared legally dead on July 25th, 2011. Interesting. Ooh, that's that's naughty. That's foul play, I think, right? Now, I'm not saying from the cop's point of view. I'm like, as an investigator, right? I'm saying like, why was he pronounced dead? Like, how long is it
disappear like that? Yeah.
Well, how long is it until somebody is considered legally dead during an investigation?
I think it's a year.
No, because like, listen, dude. I mean,
better
like
at answering that because she watches all the murder shows. So let's see here.
Life insurance scam, maybe. But I don't think that Gricar is sitting on a beach somewhere enjoying a marg. You know what I mean? I think there's something. I feel like there's something wrong here. However,
7 years. 7 years.
The body was never found. However, the laptop, the wallet, and the keys were found. So maybe we got a little something.
Maybe.
So you said 7 years, but that was before 7 years because 7 years would be 2012. I'm math.
I'm sure it's dependent on like, where the case went, how much they have on the case, and if they close the case out, they close the case out, and they basically just consider him dead. I don't really know.
Yeah, that is true. I'm not sure, man. All I know,
according to the wizards of Google, which are always correct, 7 years.
7 years. The internet never lies.
Mm-mm.
So
Never.
let's go over this. What do you think happened?
I do agree with the concept that he kind of bailed, went to the Caribbean, and he's slurping down Mai Tais.
Interesting.
It's just so odd that the laptop would stay, but the hard drive was gone.
Yeah, but then in the same article, they said that they found the hard drive, and it was too damaged.
Oh, did they find the hard drive? Okay.
Yeah, it says the hard drive was too damaged to be read.
I mean, still the same concept, though. Because
shit, I totally missed that. The hard drive was found months later by a fisherman.
Months later. Okay.
On the bank.
So it was destroyed and then tossed into a river.
Whoa.
Still.
Near the old railway bridge, which runs parallel to the traffic bridge.
Because you don't off somebody and then destroy a hard drive and throw it off a pier. Right?
Okay, first of all, yes.
Happen.
Yes, you do.
No,
listen, if he has sensitive documents about your boss or somebody of that nature.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that one.
You off them, you take their body somewhere, and then you chuck their hard drive in the river so nobody can ever find it. However, why not destroy
the hard drive
it?
and the body, but the hard drive was found and the body was not.
But why not destroy it? If there's sensitive information on that hard drive, you're going to destroy it.
It seems like they did a good job.
No, see, they didn't do a good enough job, though, because if you really want that information to never be found,
it's true.
You need to, like Domi Lawrence right here says, you got to drill it. We all know this. You got to drill those things. Yeah, throw it in a magnet box. Even then, drill it afterwards. Really destroy the shit out of it.
Oh, no, drives don't survive magnet boxes.
Well, I mean, I know, but still. There's like a 1 in a million chance, but drilling it, there's no chance ever whatsoever. You drilled that shit, it's gone. Goodbye.
True. Very true.
I don't know. I am a little perplexed because, listen.
That one is quite mysterious.
His stuff is found. Okay. But I don't know. He's nowhere. Body was never found. Why would he yeet his wallet, his keys, and his hard drive just into the river too? If he was like going off this assumption that we're making of, okay, he's going to the Caribbean. Like, I guess maybe if he doesn't want to be found, I don't know though.
I think the real answer is #aliens.
It's aliens. It's aliens again, everybody. How did you know?
To make it look like the aliens didn't see that sexy dad jokes is correct. To make it look like the aliens didn't take him. That
is exactly it. I think we cracked the case, guys. Let's call the FBI.
We know the answers to all of this. That's why you watch this show.
That's what you're here. You're here for the real, the nitty, the gritty, the morbid.
Watch Tech Mess.
Watch Tech Mess. Yeah, it's a much better choice.
Much better. So much better.
Yeah, you'll have a much better understanding from two dudes who understand very little.
Yes.
Average criminal in the 80s know how to drill to make it look like the aliens didn't pick him up. Magnavox is Dreamtime subject, though. If I don't return, I want you all to know. That's a good point. Sexy Night Jokes.
True.
The truth is right here. It's staring us in the face. What are you doing, people? The truth is out there.
Sounded like Jeff Bridges there for a second.
Guys, I want to tell you. Where is it? Oh, fuck. I don't think I did it. Hold on. Where is it? Where is this? There you go.
What is it?
It was this one too.
Thanks.
Yep. So there we go. There's a little Seinfeld for you.
Gotcha.
And then last one. That's one.
Hell. I'm gonna have to mute those because I guarantee YouTube's gonna do like DMCA.
There we go. I'm just gonna play it for a second, cut it out. Oh hell. Matt.
Yes.
Bring us in on this next one.
This one's an interesting one. I always have a special place in my heart for the disappearances of ships.
Interesting.
But more importantly, the random disappearance of the ship's passengers, only to find the ship without its people. MV Joyita was a merchant vessel.
Probably Joyita. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Joyita? It could be Joyita. It's from New Zealand, so it could be Joyita.
It could be Joyita.
So we'll say Joyita. MV Joyita. There's no correction on how you say it. It was a merchant vessel with 25 passengers and crew that mysteriously disappeared in the South Pacific in October of 1955. She was found adrift with no one aboard. The ship was in very poor condition with corroded pipes and a radio which, while functional, had a range of about 2 miles, which, if you know anything about the ocean, it's big and 2 miles ain't enough.
2 miles ain't
because of the faulty wiring. However, the extreme buoyancy of the ship made sinking it nearly impossible, much unlike the Titanic. Investigators were puzzled as to why the crew had not remained on board and waited for help. So basically, this ship, the Joyita, at about 5 o'clock a.m. on October 1955, the Joyita left Samoa's Apia Harbor, bound for Tokelau Islands, about 270 miles away. The boat had been scheduled to leave the noon tide the previous day, and her departure was delayed because her port engine clutch failed. Joyita eventually left Samoa on one engine. Definitely not a good idea. She was carrying 16 crew members and 9 passengers, including a government official, a doctor, Alfred Andy Dennis Parsons, a World War II surgeon on his way to perform an amputation. Her cargo consisted of medical supplies, timber, 80 empty 45-gallon, 200-liter oil drums, and various foodstuffs. The voyage was expected to take 41 to 48 hours. She was scheduled to return with a cargo of copra. Not sure what copra is. Joyita was scheduled to arrive...
Female copper? I don't know. Just kidding.
I don't know. Joyita was scheduled to arrive in the Tokelau Islands on 5th of October. On October 6th, a message from Whakaofo reported that the ship was overdue. No ship, land-based operator. These are difficult. No land-based operator reported receiving a distress signal from the crew, and a search and rescue mission was launched. They found the boat, but there was no one inside of it. The merchant ship Tuvalu, en route from Suva and Funafuti, sighted Joyita more than 600 miles west from the scheduled route, drifting north of, Vanua Levu. The ship was partially submerged and listing heavily. Her port deck rail was awash, and there was no trace of anyone.
Damn.
4 tons of cargo was also missing. The recovery party noted that the radio was discovered tuned to 2,182 kilohertz, the International Marine Radio Telephone Distress Channel. So they tried to call for help.
Okay.
Important things to note: barnacle growth on the ship was above the usual waterline. There was some damage to the superstructure. And Joyita carried a dinghy and 3 Carolee life rafts, but all were missing.
Oh.
So they left.
Sure.
But were never found.
Interesting.
I don't know. Nowhere near the Bermuda Triangle. So
I think I know what it was.
What?
Aliens.
60 jokes. He's on top of it. Alien landed on top.
Alien landed on top. Yeah, absolutely. They heard all the crazy names and they're like, "This must be it.
We got to take this down just to make this even down. Worse."
This is it. I don't know. I see that there's quite a few different hypotheses about it.
Yeah, they said the only things that were really found were the fact that the lower deck were flooded and the hull was actually intact. Like everything was fine. So it seems like it just took on water.
I find it interesting that all of the cargo was gone.
Oh, interesting. So they found a pipe in the raw water circuit of the engine cooling system that had failed due to galvanic corrosion, allowing the pipes to bulge.
Interesting.
And fill the bilges with water. Interesting. So it sank because of a mechanical failure.
Still feels a little fishy.
Where everybody go?
I mean, yeah, you're out in the middle of the ocean and whatnot, but you're not just all going to drown. Like immediately.
Was it aliens or is this another Gilligan's Island tale?
Storm plus aliens plus sea monster. At times we simplify too much. You're absolutely right.
It could very much. Yeah, it could be the Kraken. Yes.
I mean, the Joyita was used for fishing in the late 1940s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. The thing is, with all of these stories, not all of them, because like the Gricar thing was fairly recent. We don't have a lot to go off of because, I mean, simply things were different. I mean, they don't have kind of like forensics or anything that we have now.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too, is like they relied on like a ship not reporting on time.
Yeah.
So by the time they figured out that you didn't report on time, you're already in trouble.
Yes, absolutely.
So we didn't have satellites back then.
And speaking of time, we're going to run into trouble if we don't end this soon because, oh my God, it's 9:45.
We're going to speed round it.
We're going to speed round this, these last two, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
This one's quick.
This one is about Paula Jean Weldon. Now, Paula Jean Weldon was also from Vermont. Hello there. Vermont, what are you doing? Are there aliens in Vermont? I don't know, guys.
Probably.
Are there? Sorry, that's too easy. The mystery began on December 1st, 1946. Paula worked a double shift in the college dining hall, spent some time with her roommate Elizabeth Johnson, and then decided to go out for a while. According to Johnson, Paula was dressed in a distinctive red parka coat with a fur-lined hood, blue jeans, topsider shoes with thick soles, and a gold Elgin wristwatch with a black band. She also remembered Paula's last words. I'm all through with studies. I'm taking a long walk. Okay. Paula's long walk was to be along part of Vermont's Long Trail, which in total runs 272 miles from the Massachusetts state line to the Canadian border. Canadian. What the fuck is wrong with me? Canadian border. The cold weather... Wow, the cold weather and Paula's out. I'm embarrassed. This is awful. Stream's over. Good night. And Paula's outfit suggested that Paula hadn't planned on being out longer than a few hours. Shortly after, Paula, or a girl seen in similar clothing with the same physical description, was spotted by Danny Fager. Fager owned a gas station across the street from the college gates and alleged that he'd seen the girl run up and then down the side of a gravel pit near the college entrance. This would have occurred just after Paula's departure from her room around 2:45 p.m. 15 minutes later, a man named Louis Knapp claimed to have picked up a young girl hitchhiking on Route 67A near the college. Knapp remembered her appearance as being consistent with Paula's and also recalled a seemingly insignificant exchange between himself and the girl. While climbing into his truck, the girl lost her footing. Knapp told her to be careful, but said nothing until letting her out on Route 9 near the Long Trail. Just before 4 p.m., Paula was seen again this time by several people in Bickford Hollow, where she appeared to be heading toward the trail. One of these people, Ernie Whitman, warned Paula against traveling into the mountains without heavier clothing. She reportedly ignored him and continued on her way. So, okay. I'm feeling a little, did you learn about Elisa Lam at the Hotel Cecil?
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting a little bit of that vibe right now.
Bit.
She's, kind of being a little reckless. She's just going for it. Now, I don't know what happened with Elisa Lam. Nobody does. That's a whole other thing, but that's covered in much more detail, and that's not what we're trying to cover. So we'll get back to it. By the time night fell, Paula's roommates started to worry. Not wanting to arouse any unnecessary panic, Johnson said nothing to the college president, Lewis Webster Jones, until the next morning. Jones phoned Paula's parents to ask if she'd gone home for the weekend. Paula's mother collapsed with worry and was confined to her bed. Paula's father, engineer W. Archibald Weldon, left his Stamford, Connecticut home for Bennington. Upon arriving, Mr. Weldon sprang into action by organizing a massive search party, which included local residents as well as students from Bennington and nearby Williams College. After a full day had passed with no results, most of the students gave up in just pure frustration. Mr. Weldon called in both the New York and Connecticut State Police to help. Vermont had no state police force at the time, but it did have a state investigator named Almo Franzoni, whose involvement only served to raise a $5,000 reward for information. Now, there's obviously a lot here. There was a big, crazy search party. There were days that passed with no resolution. Bizarre leads surfaced in different areas, including one from a waitress in Fall River, Massachusetts, who claimed to serve dinner to a disturbed woman fitting Paula's description. Now, here's the thing about these leads. I like when you make something like this super public, people are going to call in. I mean, nonstop. It's like getting your 15 minutes of fame. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like one of the worst things that you can do is really make this like a pub. Oh, if you've seen this person, because then the police just get hammered.
Yeah.
Both drunk wise and to take all the phone calls. Boom. Got him.
Boom.
On December 16th, Mr. Weldon admonished the police for their lack of professionalism and returned to Connecticut. He was particularly aghast that no records had been kept for the first 10 days of the investigation. Once reporters caught wind of this, they descended on Bennington and jotted down everything they could find. The negative press eventually led to the creation of the Vermont State Police in 1947. Interesting. So this led pretty heavily to it. Yeah,
came out of it, I guess.
Yeah. The body was never found. 9 years after Paula's disappearance, a lumberjack came forward. He claimed that he'd been in Bickford Hollow when Paula went missing. And he also claimed to know where her body was buried. He claimed to know. Attorney Reuben Levin questioned the man incessantly until the man admitted to making it all up for publicity. You piece of shit! Then in 1968, a skeleton was found. Investigators scrambled excitedly, hoping to finally bring closure to the aging cold case. But again, their hopes were dashed. It was determined that the remains were far too old to be Paula. Independent analyses of the Paula Jean Weldon case have led to unusual or usual conclusions. She became lost and died in the elements, or she ran off with a boyfriend. One of the eerier theories points to the Bennington Triangle. What the fuck? A notorious section of southwestern Vermont. Tyson Dang Shivers, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Where 5 people, including Paula, vanished between 1945 and 1950. Let's go. Next week, we're doing more mysterious disappearances. We're going to do all of the ones from the Vermont, or for the Bennington Triangle, including this one. Right. We'll get into even more detail. Let's fucking go. The Bennington Triangle. Let's fucking do this, people. Such as New England author Joseph Citro believed that Paula's disappearance has no otherworldly explanation. Okay, first of all, let me tell you something.
I'm trying to do this.
It could always be aliens. It could always be aliens. Officially, the unsolved case of Paula Jean Weldon remains open, though it is unlikely that it will ever be solved.
At this point, no.
No, not at this point. I mean, damn. That is nuts. 1946. She was 18 years old.
Crazy.
18 years old at the time of her disappearance. Can you believe? I mean, come on. What a dickhead, that lumberjack. Say, I killed her. I know where the body's buried. But
That's pretty crappy.
But then finally it was like, I made it up for the publicity. This is exactly what I was saying.
Should've
Like,
just
people do that
arrested him
shit.
for the fucking...
What is it?
For the fun of it at that point.
Well, no, it's not the fun of it. There's a word for it. It's tampering with an investigation.
Yeah. Never
Never trust a lumberjack. You're absolutely right. Time triangle. Tell me what it's
true.
Man, what? Wow. Just these cases, right? I mean, obviously there's a lot of factors here. And the woman, like, you know, Paula, she was 18. She didn't seem to be like out of shape or anything. She did go into a very, very rough, you know, mountain hike, basically, where the elements could have easily killed her, but there would be a body, right? Unless like she was eaten by like bears or something. But I mean, even then, I think like there's more. Something. Yeah, there's more to it here. And like I said, I mean, Bigfoot. Up until 4 p.m., people were like seeing her, and everything was fine.
It was Bigfoot.
Yeah, there is something interesting to the waitress that said she saw a disturbed woman. I'm definitely like, maybe there's something there, but I mean, big search parties, they like had helicopters and like all sorts of craziness.
And they found nothing.
And they found legit nothing. Literally nothing. Like I said, it is good that it led to the Vermont State Police being formed. And it's also good that it led us to the Bennington Triangle. Let's fucking go. You know what else is good?
I don't know if it's necessarily good. I think the final theme for tonight is just don't fucking hike alone.
Yeah.
Just don't. Because Barbara Assunta Bolik disappeared July 18th, 2007, in the Bear Creek Overlook in the Bitterroot Mountains of Montana. Last seen on the Overlook of the Bitterroot Mountains, West Victor in Montana on Wednesday, July 18th, 2007. Her husband's cousin and cousin's friend, Jim Raymaker, 58, were visiting from California. Barbara was supposed to take them both out for a hike, but the husband's cousin was hungover, didn't want to go. So only Jim and Barbara headed out. And around noon,
Jim and Barb, I'm a bit hungover. You'll go ahead.
You go now. You go ahead. Jim stopped to look over the scenic view whilst Barbara was about 20 or 30 feet away from him. But when he turned around about a minute or two later, she was gone. Never to be seen again.
Son of a bitch. This was one of mine, and I totally fucking mixed it all up. Continue.
Did you?
Yeah. I
Barbara
totally
was an experienced hiker she was very familiar with this area. She was carrying a black day pack at the time of her disappearance, and it contained a .357 Magnum.
Well, she wasn't fucking around.
She was packing.
That's fucking
Neither Barbara nor her belongings were ever found. I mean, that means you could find that.
Yeah.
Free gun.
The gun's not just going to disappear.
That's true. What is it and where is it? The Break Creek Overlook Trail is a moderately rated trafficked out in the back trail near the Victor Mount. Good Lord. I can't
Victor, Montana.
Located near Victor, Montana, it features a stunning view of Bear Creek and the surrounding mountains.
That made me feel a lot better. I'm not going to
lie. It happens. You know, we're not used to doing this yet.
Victor Creek in the Tanzania.
Barbara lived with her husband, who had previously had a heart attack and didn't hike, so he didn't accompany her, which is why he didn't know. He fully cooperated with police, and there was an extensive search of the area, which turned up no sign of Barbara. Jim also fully cooperated with investigators, and he was not named a suspect, which, come on.
He's got to be.
He was with her.
He's the only witness. I mean,
her husband noted that her husband noted that she was afraid of heights and would not have gone near the edge of a precipice or left the trail. Yeah, I don't know. There was talk of 2 young men who were also on the trail who had spoken with them, and they were considered witnesses, but they were never able to find them, even after offering a $10,000 reward for information or to just identify the 2 men. Let's see. They were in their early 20s and accompanied by a black mixed breed dog with flappy ears and white markings. One of them described as a dark-skinned with black hair. The other had a medium complexion with reddish hair. Both men clean cut and were athletic build. So there's a lot going on here, and there is suspected foul play, intentional disappearance, animal attack, even though there was no evidence of bear or mountain lion, or misadventure. But nobody really knows.
Listen, all of these sound like, I don't know. Now, to get a little bit more into the foul play aspect, because listen, that's what we all want to know.
This one kind of screams it.
Jim was a trusted family acquaintance, right? So he was possibly dating Barbara's husband's cousin. And maybe what's thought here? This is alleged. We're not trying to defame this poor man. Right. Is perhaps he made sexual advances on Barbara on the hike. There was a struggle and killed her, but the alibi for such an attack did seem kind of weak.
Very.
I mean, you disappear without a trace. I don't know. It
also could just be bad investigative work. They could have just given up and they're like, "Nah, he's good. He's a good guy."
If there's anything I've learned from the police is like there are some definite like terrible investigative work that happens out there.
This could very much be one of those, or maybe they paid off the police, or maybe it was the two men they could never locate,
or maybe it was
grabbed her while he wasn't looking.
Aliens.
I'm going to say Bigfoot just because we haven't talked about it yet. And
we haven't talked about Bigfoot.
Was part of this.
Yeah, it was a cryptid, probably.
It's Bigfoot. It
had to have been. Barbara Bolik. What an interesting story there. Because, she's got a .357 Magnum, too. Come on now.
She was packing. She could have killed him.
Yeah. Honestly, she was packing a fucking... That's Dirty Harry.
That's Dirty Harry.
Feeling lucky, punk. So, yeah, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for another episode of Morbid Message Monday. I hope that you learned something new today. If you didn't, well, I apologize for just letting you down. But I don't think we did. Yeah, law enforcement needs training in aliens. They definitely do. They absolutely do. Yeah. Not the police as suspects. Yeah, the police are always suspects, in my opinion. We're not going to get into that. But... Matt, do you have any final closing statements for this week's episode?
I do not, but thank you guys for making this the most viewed episode of Morbid Message Mondays.
This will be going live on YouTube tomorrow. Tuesday, and live everywhere. Everywhere everywhere podcasts are available. If you listen on Spotify, make sure you hit that follow button so you never miss another episode of Morbid Message Monday. And again, guys, we'll be back next week with the Bennington Triangle, because god damn, mysterious disappearances are just too good.